the Camino del Diablo. This trail lies within some of the most inhospitable and dangerous terrain of the Sonoran Desert. The sun-bleached animal bones and the many grave sites along the way are a testament to how dangerous this trail can be.
Good thing the new phones are waterproof.
Good morning, guys, and welcome back to part 2 or 3 of the Camino del Diablo trail. I'm not sure what part it is because I haven't been able to look at the footage yet, but it's just been such an amazing trail so far. And yesterday, as you guys know, was a lot of sand. That was pretty hard for me to navigate on the motorcycle. And I think today we're gonna have a lot more of that. So I'm looking forward to that and dreading it at the same time, but we'll see how it goes. Today we're gonna be right up next to the border wall where we can touch it almost. So I think that's what I'm most excited about. We got a few more like historical markers and things to check out, like this monument right behind me. I'm not exactly sure what this one signifies. It's got many different murals and writings from different groups, the United States Department of the Interior and stuff, and then lots of Boy Scout ones dating back to 1939 and before that even, and then just other adventurers that are coming through the area, a couple military troops and groups. And it's pretty neat. It kind of looks like they've just been adding to it over the years because, like I said, some of it's from 1939, some of it's more recent. And then they got, of course, the old glory flying high above it. And it looks pretty recent, so I'm assuming that people kind of renew the flag whenever it gets worn out or the colors start to fade out here. But yeah, camp's basically all set down. I didn't set down my tent yet. I'm gonna wait till the last minute because it was very dewy this morning and everything was wet, including my motorcycle. So I want everything to dry out before I pack it away. Just then, first of all, it's not wet in camp tonight, but also it just keeps the tent smelling fresh. If you pack it away with water for too long, it can get moldy and mildewy. And also just kind of start to smell. So I want to avoid that if I can.
Tape my ears.
The main reason I tape my ears isn't to hold them back or anything, although that helps. It's just so then it's rubbing on something other than my skin when I take on and off my helmet. And when I'm filming, I have to do that a lot more than you usually would. Just because I have to change batteries, and also since I have to stop to pick up cameras or, to wait for everyone, then I can't just sit there not moving with a helmet on, I'd sweat to death and overheat. But this should help a little bit. All right. Got about 60 to 70 miles left of the trail. It's gonna be a fun one. Some of my gear is still wet. The Badlands Moto gear is 100% waterproof, except for when you have the vents open, which I did when I went through all of that water yesterday. So water just came pouring in. All right, let's head on out there. So this was a nice little campground. I kind of prefer more wild camps. Obviously this was wild because we were in the middle of nowhere, but it had like picnic tables and designated spots, which makes sense because this is a national reserve, so they don't want you camping just anywhere. But hopefully tonight we have a bit more of a rugged camp. It's nice because it's a little bit chillier today, so I have a feeling the temperature will rise later in the day, but at least for now, at least for now, I'm gonna enjoy this cooler weather. There's Lando getting his morning run in. I mean, we're going 20 miles an hour and he's just jogging. We've clocked him going a lot faster than this, and he can keep up a speed like this for a very long time. He's quite the athletic dog, and obviously since he does this almost every single day, he's really well in practice and in very good shape. Alright, so looks like we got a bit of flatter ground for a while, so I'm gonna enjoy it while I can, because I know that we got some deep sand coming up again pretty soon. I just have to watch out for divots, like the one we just came through. I mentioned it in the last video, but the way this sand is colored and this gravel, it's really hard to judge the depth of things, especially wearing tinted goggles. So I just have to be extra mindful of that. Already we're kind of turning into more sand. Yep, here it is. Do not enter, not a public road. Huh. Oh, wow. Yeah. As soon as you slow down in the sand, it wants to tip you over. So is this the road? El Camino del Diablo. Yep. I guess this is it. So I don't know if there's any mining going on or if it's just for border patrol, but that road is not for public use. Construction, so. Oh, look at that tree. Almost looked like it had hair on it. Getting bumpier and bumpier and sandier the more we get into on this. I'm gonna pull up by this cacti and wait for everyone else. Well, I'm really proud of the bike, how it's been handling this whole thing. We've done BDRs and long drives and stuff, of course, but this one's been particularly rough. Mainly in the fact that I've been in first or second gear for a lot of the time in the sand and stuff. And the bike's been keeping cool, which is surprising. If the fan does turn on and it gets a bit hot, then I'll just pull over and let it run for a bit. And then it's good to go. I've been checking everything over and over again to make sure nothing rattled loose. And everything seems to be sturdy so far. Everything inside of my Moscow moto bags is still dry, even after going through the water, which is what I'd expect. And yeah, everything's doing great. I haven't really bottomed out on anything or hit the skid plate too hard, which is good. I did a few times on the rocks, but very lightly. And yeah, I think I might check the air filter when we get into camp tonight. And everything else is great, so love the bike, love this trail. Looking forward to keep on keeping on. Wait a minute, I was about to hop on my bike and keep going, but I spotted something that looks like a 50 cal bullet. Wow, yeah, it might be. Look at this. Now that is a massive shell. .4W. Let me see. 4TW. Not exactly sure what round this is. I'm not familiar with it. That's neat. Wonder what the reason for shooting something this size out here would be besides just for fun. Well, that's cool. I'll take that back with me. Put it on my shelf. Well, my old friend is back, the sand. Fortunately, this stuff isn't quite as thick as yesterday, but oh, that was a short little section right onto gravel. That's more like it. So right now we're about 15 miles away from the closest point to the border wall. I mean, we're a lot closer to the border than that, but the closest that the trail comes to the actual wall itself. And we'll probably stop there and take a look. Oh, rocky. And that'll be pretty neat. I've seen the wall in El Paso and Tijuana and a couple other places, but when you look at it just in the middle of the desert, it's a way crazier sight. Just because with buildings behind it, it kind of makes sense, you know? Like, it doesn't seem too odd that there'd be a wall there. But out in the middle of the desert, when all you've seen is wilderness for so long, and then suddenly this giant structure appears, spanning the entire landscape as far as your eye can see, it's kind of shocking. This is freedom. Just day after day in the wilderness on my motorcycle, camping on the ground. Oh, I love it. Doesn't get much better than this. What a beautiful area. I mean, just 360 panoramic views. So I think tonight, I've kind of been thinking I should probably eat some of the food I brought. I mean, no freeze-dried meal really expires, at least not for a very, very long time. But I kind of feel like I've been taking the luxury route so far. I mean, it's been nice to share meals with everybody because they're a lot tastier than a freeze-dried meal, that's for sure. But yeah, I feel like I should cook my own meal tonight, so I at least feel somewhat like a man. And I'll also make a nice tea. I've been so thirsty that I haven't been thinking of like anything more nice. I've just been chugging water anytime I'm thirsty, so I think a nice mint tea or something, or an Earl Grey, would really hit the spot after another long ride. Whew. I don't think I've drinking this much water in my life. Just all day exertion on the trails in some pretty intense heat. I couldn't imagine, I don't think I would do this trail in the summertime or even the springtime. Right now it's a little bit cooler than usual, but it's about 94 Fahrenheit. And when you're in a helmet with goggles, and then on top of it you have the heat radiating off the bike right up at you, so I'm not complaining. I love every aspect about traveling on my motorcycle, including the heat and the suffering. But this sort of thing makes me appreciate the cooler drives, like Newfoundland and stuff, that I want to do someday. Although, you'd probably be complaining about the cold if that was the case. Just depends on where you are. Every place has its problem. I think I need to get a straw or something. I do have a Camelback, but it wasn't cleaned, so I didn't take it. I probably should have cleaned it in hindsight. I just went, whatever, I'll have water bottles. But since I don't want to take off my helmet to minimize the pain on my ears at the end of the day, I just kind of have to shove this under. And it works. It's just uncomfortable. Alright guys, when you are out here riding, these are the cactus you want to watch out for. I mean, these guys really will do you dirty. I mean, I've brushed against the Ocotillo ones, like these stringy looking ones there. And the Badlands, just deflects them. But those sticky ones really stick. And they just detach very easily, like the little knobs on the end. So even if you like slightly brush against them, they're gonna be sticking all over you, and that's not fun. I'm not sure if these are the exact ones, but I know there is a cacti that like can tell by your heat signature how close you are, and then they'll actually like kind of spring off and attach to you, which is pretty interesting. So I'm gonna try and avoid all the cactuses I can while heading down this trail, although that's getting harder and harder to avoid because the trail is getting more and more narrow, and then with it being sand, it just makes it harder for me to stay in one straight path. Kind of makes me swerve all over the place, but we'll see. Hopefully I can do it. I definitely feel like my sand driving's improved a lot since I began this trail, just because it's been so much of it. Here's a little bit thinner, but it's actually a challenge of its own being like this, because it's like it's got hard ground and then a thin like dusting of sand on top, so it actually slides quite easily. But it's in that deep stuff that I was having the most trouble, and I feel like I've kind of got the hang of it. I mean, I'm still learning how to like what speed to go, what gear should I be in, all that. But I'm getting better, and that's a good thing. Staying in this center lane seems to be the best bet. I mean, there's more sand on here than there is on the tire tracks, but it's not, wow, but it's not already moved. So as you can see, like every time I come into one of these corners, the sand's kind of telling me where it wants me to go. Wow, that was close. The sand's telling me where it wants to go instead of me deciding that. We've come across some other people doing the trail so far. Some border patrol guys, but then some other just adventurers in some Toyotas. Last night they were in a camp somewhat nearer to us. And then I've seen some side-by-sides go by. So far, I'm the only guy I've seen on a bike. Wow, look at this. Water must really rush through here for the walls to be that steep on each side. I'm the only bike I've seen so far that's either an adventure bike or an enduro bike. Like, I haven't seen any motorcycles, but kind of makes sense. Like, unless you're doing it in a big group, this isn't really a solo trail. Mexico is just off to my right. Actually, I can see the border wall right now. And we're getting closer and closer to that spot I was telling you about, where we'll most likely be able to walk up to the border wall. Just looks so weird seeing that black wall spanning across the landscape like that. Maybe once we get to higher ground out of these shrubs, or once we get closer, then you guys will be able to see it. I'm gonna pull over here and wait for everybody, because I think I'm pretty far ahead. I was just having so much fun on those trails, I didn't want to stop. So here you can hear the fan of the motorcycle on. It's because it's a hot day, first of all, but then also the riding I've been doing is pretty rough. Okay, that just barely made it. I don't want to leave it leaning. Oh no! Oh. That is not good. That is very bad for the bike. There's a rock. It's just getting it. That's gonna be the issue. Ugh. Might get another one to hold it up a bit better as well. Whew, that was heavy. That was really bad. The kickstand looks fine, but you gotta be so careful, because first of all, the kickstand can bend, and that wouldn't be good. And then on top of it, the KTM 690s. You know what? I'm gonna catch my breath. I'll tell you in a second. Alright, that's a little bit better. Still hot as anything. Put this do-rag on to protect my ears from sunburn, because taking off and on my helmet is actually not fun right now. Sure, by the end of this, I'll not wear a hat or helmet for a couple days just to let them rest. But anyways, what I was saying is the reason why I'm so worried about that happening on the KTM 690 in particular is there's a sensor in the kickstand that if the kickstand is facing down, the bike won't turn on. So if you mess up that sensor, then even if you put the kickstand up, it won't let you turn on the bike and you'll be stuck there. And we had that issue with Peter's bike, and we sat there for like 6 hours trying to jimmy rig it in a position where it let it run. And it was nighttime by the time we actually ended up being able to move and drive back to camp. So it's definitely not something you'd want to happen here. Luckily, it was totally fine. All the pieces seemed good, so. Wow, that's high. All right, guys. That was a nice little rest got to snack on some peanuts and honey. So I've got a little bit more energy now, and we're gonna keep heading down this sandy trail to a little turnoff. I don't think the road is marked, but there's a little like road that leads to the border wall, and we'll probably make lunch there. I'm really looking forward to lunch. I'm a hungry guy. I accidentally skipped breakfast. I just didn't really think about it. So I think we're gonna be making like burritos of some kind, which is going to be delicious. I found some what I think is pyrite in like the ripples of this wash. I don't think there's like actual gold out here, but it might be fool's gold, and that's cool enough for me. So I emptied my water bottle, drank it, not wasted it, and then I scooped it up. Whoa, that was deep. And then scooped some of it up. I don't think we brought our panning pan, but at some point it'd be kind of cool to look through it. And even fool's gold looks cool, so that'd be just kind of a neat little thing to do at some point. The main issue I've been having out here with filming is the heat, because the GoPro batteries die a lot faster than the heat apparently. I keep getting temperature warnings on them, and like usually an 100% GoPro would last me most of the day filming the way I do, but recently I'm switching out the batteries like every hour or every couple hours, which is making it more difficult for me to film than it usually would be. Ain't this fun? Alright, time to slow her down. Oh, this is a lot more fun. This is the kind of sand I like. You can really see the border wall now, or the border fence. This is very different than the sand I was just riding in. This pumice is very coarse. It's almost like sandpaper, except it's very light and brittle because of its ash. And then the volcanic rock as well, with like all of its bubbles and stuff, actually become very sharp and coarse. So it's pretty rough on the tires. We're getting really close to the border wall and really close to lunch as well. I am actually very, very excited. Oh wow, look at that. That is rocky. I'm actually very, very excited to see this. It's just a very interesting part of, wow. I'll talk later. You know, if I had a bit more of a run at that, that would have been easier, but wow, that was rocky climbing. I did hear a big pop though. I hope it wasn't my tire. Nope, seems good. Wow, now you can really see the border wall.
But there's a road that kind of goes straight to the wall. I kind of want to go see the wall.
Sure, if we
But
can drive on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It may be one that's like marked off, like that back there.
So I'm just gonna be making a few burritos for the trail because we are all starving, and I think the boys will eat a few of these. I need to make something light and fast to get some food in these boys' tummies, especially Dan's, because he's been working hard in all this sand. It's been quite a workout for him, so burritos are always the fastest.
Well, looking forward to lunch. Ooh, and taking off this gear for a little bit.
My tummy is full of food. I'm re-energized and ready to keep going. When I first thought of what the road would look like on a road called Camino del Diablo, this is what I thought of. Just a rugged, volcanic road. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. This lava flow is called like the Pincota or something. I'll put the proper name down. And it's apparently just gonna get even more rough, which I'm really excited for. So let's keep on riding and see what adventures await.
It's definitely bent in a bit more, and on top of that I'm missing the rubber piece, so that's why it's so slippery when it's wet. These stock pieces are so flimsy.
Avoid nighttime travel. If you see suspicious individuals, groups, or activity, do not engage them or attempt to detain them. You should leave the area immediately. Do not let anyone you do not know into your vehicle. That makes sense. It's pretty crazy. We're that close. What do you think about it?
You want an olive?
No.
Really?
Yeah.